Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on AM 790 KBC and across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside Sean Cody. Welcome back, Max Brown. And we've got kind of a show that's all over the place a little bit today. We're not entirely sure what the schedule is going to be. Football practice is running a little bit long, so I think we're going to do the show in reverse order, tenant style today.
I like that.
Over under. Let's go right away. Start hot.
Oh, jeez.
We will get to that soon. Trojans Live is sponsored by Pechanga Resort Casino, a proud partner of USC football. And when you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all Buena. Stone Buena Vesa Salt and Lime Lager is Baja inspired. Imported from San Diego, located near you at fine.stonebrewing.com. All right, let's start with our football roundtable, and we will tee up the guests that we've got coming up in the show. I mean, the headliner for the show, guys, our first conversation with the new defensive coordinator, D'Anton Lynn. Very excited about that. I think ultimately he is the pivot person around which this season swings, and looking forward to hearing from him, to meeting him, and figuring out the plan to get this thing turned around in a hurry.
Yeah, he's been quite the conversation piece for the whole offseason. Obviously, when you have a big move like that at a program like USC, it's going to be a talking point. And got to see him in action this weekend on Saturday out there with his crew, with Coach Entz and Henderson and Belk, and they were out there running around. Had a lot of juice out there this weekend, liked what I saw. So good start for them, and I'm sure he'll have a ton to say about where this program needs to go and what kind of guys they need in his program and what kind of bodies he likes. And I got a ton of questions, Jordan. So I'm super excited for him to come on.
Yeah, it feels like so much has been made of the weight gains over the past 3 months, which is always a talking point this time of year. But it feels like especially the case this year with not only a new regime defensively coming in, but also heading to a new conference where that's going to be even more front of mind. But yeah, with D'Anton Lynn, he's done this before, which that's what I'm most excited about. UCLA came in last year. That was not a good defense 2 years ago, and then one of the best defenses in the Pac-12, if not the best defense in the Pac-12 last year. So he's done this before, and one of my first questions to him is going to be, last year was his first year at the college ranks. I think that's a lot to build on, and even for himself, not having to learn that style of game and what you need to get acclimated to, hopefully goes a long way in year two for him.
Yeah, it's it's year one for him, but because it's year three of Lincoln Riley, there's a sense of urgency that, hey, something needs to get done in year one of D'Anton Lynn. What can he do, Sean? I mean, talk to the fans a little bit in terms of what's realistic and maybe what's unrealistic to do. Take what you saw last season and turn it into what you want it to be.
Well, I think the sky's the limit right here. You see what he did with UCLA. Max touched on that and how fast he got it turned around there. And I think when you listen to Coach Riley speak, it's been about development, right? He's huge on taking the guys we have right now and turning them into the players they should be. And when you look at what Coach Lynn has done, it's that development phase that I want to see. That's why I was so excited. I'm usually not a huge practice guy, Jordan. You know me. I go out there. I don't know how
practice?
much
we talking about practice.
I'm not going to learn much watching the practice, but I really want to see what Coach Lynn was talking about, what the defensive line was talking about. I want to see him move around a little bit and get on the field. And I was really excited with what I saw, and I thought, and in terms of development, that's where it takes place, on the practice field. Those are the day in, day out grinders of not fun stuff of practice and doing that kind of stuff. That's where development happens. And so I think that's where Coach Riley wants to see that improvement. And that's what hopefully something Coach Lynn can bring.
What did he do, Max? I mean, you're a guy that loves to put the film on. What did you see at UCLA last year that all of a sudden they were very good defensively, and they were not very good defensively before he got there?
The first thing that jumps out is they played a lot of guys. So if you're in this too deep at USC, you look on that film, if you can play, you're going to find your way on the field. I think that is the flip side of it. He had a lot of talent on that UCLA defense too, which it sounds like he's trying to figure out who are those guys on this USC defense. But front seven wise, I think that he can just throw a lot at you. I feel like in Lincoln's presser, so much of it is about, hey, the versatility that D'Anton brought to his defenses and the ability to adjust to offenses last year. Well, that comes by running different schemes, having versatile edge rushers and linebacker type bodies, which we have with the a la Eric Gentry and guys like that. So I think for me in spring with him, it's figuring out, hey, here's the pieces that I have, and here's how I think I'm going to utilize them in the fall. But obviously, we won't know exactly how it's going to shake out until August.
Yeah, and I think watching their defense play last year, it wasn't to me. It didn't look like a ton of pressure, and he wasn't trying to bring a lot of stuff. He had guys that were making plays. You look at the Murphy twins or Latu. It was what they were doing. Those guys were making plays for him. So he's going to call on that front seven. He's going to call on those guys to try to win one-on-ones and not just try to dial up a lot of exotic stuff. And that's the way I think you can keep that back and a little more safe. And that's why I thought they had a lot of success last last year.
Yeah, and we are also expected to talk to Kamari Ramsey here tonight. Kamari is a safety who transferred over from UCLA to USC. And I'm wondering, guys, and the questions I certainly have for him, how much will it help D'Anton Lynn? It seems like in this new era, it used to be the linebacker was the quarterback of the defense, but the more and more we've talked to DCs in the last decade, they often talk about safeties being quarterbacks back there as well, if not even more so. How much do you think it'll help having somebody that already speaks his language in that locker room?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, to have a guy like that, you think about the safety, that position, they're going through all the coverages, right? Typically a linebacker is going to tell the defensive lineman kind of where to line up, maybe call the play, but that back end is really ran by the safeties and what kind of coverages, making sure everyone's on the same page, who's got what, where it's going to go. So it's really important to have a guy like that come with you. I mean, I'll look at Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams. What they were able to do, they come as a package and then they can spread the gospel a little bit, right? So I'm sure Coach Lynn's going to lean on Kamari to kind of spread my message. What am I about? Let these guys know what kind of defense we will run and have a guy in there. It just can't be nothing but I think help.
Yeah, there's actually 2 UCLA players too. John Humphrey, a corner, who's come over as well.
Totally, and I think not only the familiarity, but that was a position of weakness last year for this defense, and so you're kind of checking both boxes off of, hey, a leader, familiarity, and then, that's a position of need as well, and especially nowadays with, hey, defenses for the most part playing 3 safeties on the field the majority of the time, that can't be a position of weakness because you're going to need so many bodies to play there.
Yeah, and the other person that we expect to talk to tonight is Bryson Shaw, and he's interesting in this whole mix to me because he was part of that Holiday Bowl defense that all of a sudden we turned up in San Diego and just looked different. And that, outside of the new coaches and the new philosophy and all of that, just all of a sudden, Sean, they were tackling better, they were hitting harder, they just seemed a little bit more engaged and locked in defensively into the game plan.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get his brain take on what happened that game. I know my man Taylor Mays was out there, maybe he had something to do with it, and Taylor Mays is still on the staff, so good things from that. But yeah, it would be interesting to pick his brain on last year the transformation, how hard it was to go through that, and then where can this thing go when just with a few weeks with Coach Lynn, where do you think this thing's going to head? So it'll be fun to talk to him, I think.
All right, looking forward to it. As I said, we're sort of doing it in reverse order. If you're watching us live on YouTube, we appreciate it. Stick around with us. We still expect to get D'Anton Lynn, Bryson Shaw, Kamari Ramsey, and maybe Temi Ojora as well from USC women's track and field. It's all a little bit up in the air, but we're having fun and hanging out with you. Please hang out with us as well. Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart and Final. It's a free newsletter that'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. And don't wait until game time to plan for retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital is the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. Back with more Trojans Live next. Welcome back to Trojans Live.
I like that. That's a new mix. I've been here 5 years. It's like a new mix right there.
You talking about the song or the joke that they made about your name?
The joke about the name.
Yeah.
It's good. I like that. That's how you know you've made it.
Just trying to keep things fresh around here, man. They do a great job getting us in and out of breaks. Jordan Moore, Sean Cody, and the aforementioned Max Brown. As I mentioned, we're sort of doing things in opposite order tonight, so we usually end with our over-under, but I think we're going to fire it up now, guys.
I like it early. You know what? I think my brain's working good early. I think I'm going to be on top of this.
There's a 0% chance that you have a lot of knowledge on this topic, but we're going to find out. The over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. Sean Cody, where are you going after this show?
Oh, I'm going to the basketball game to watch the women's basketball team in the bracket here. I'm excited. We got the family here. We're going over, man. We're pumped for Trojan basketball tonight.
I am headed there as well. I will be calling the game, pulling a little double duty tonight. So you're over under 1.5 Pac-12 women's basketball teams that will make the Final Four this year.
Ooh, you were kidding about my knowledge.
Stanford won.
Well, let me lay it out for you. USC is a 1 seed. Stanford and UCLA are both 2 seeds. This is the best league in America this year. Utah's still in the tournament, Colorado's still in the tournament, and Oregon State's still in the tournament.
So you're telling me we have 8 teams?
6.
Six
nice
teams? Sorry. That's why I'll stick to football. 6 teams. There's only 30 teams left? Not even?
Yeah, I mean, after tonight, the Sweet 16 will be set.
Hammer the over.
What's the line again?
1.5 to get to the Final Four.
Oh, Final Four.
I'm going over. So I'm going over, yeah.
Yeah. So you would need the
Go the
Pac-12 to
Trojans?
represent half the Final Four.
I'll take it.
I got to look at the bracket again. I want to see
They're
where these
battle
things
tested.
lie.
They're battle tested.
You
That'll
should have
come
given me a
through
little
in the,
heads up on this, Jordan. I would
Elite
have been
Eight.
a lot more prepared for this.
But it would be a lot less fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under just the Trojans, baby, in the Final Four.
All right, I like that. That's fine with me. I certainly don't need to be out there rooting for UCLA, but they got a good squad this year as well. No, looking forward to tonight's game, USC versus Kansas. If you're watching us live on YouTube, you can stay with us in the USC Trojans Media Network, and I'll have the call, but the game's going to be on ESPN as well. So, just a huge opportunity. They're expecting more than 9,000 people at the Galen Center for this one, and USC versus Kansas looks good. And Marquis, Kansas is a pretty good team. I did my prep on them. And I think the Trojans are in for a battle tonight.
Who do we got to hold on their team? What can I be watching for,
Jordan? Well, they have a 6'6" center.
Ooh, 6'6".
And, so size is the one thing that, I worry about a little bit with this USC team at times. They've gotten better as the season has gone on dealing with size, but a 6'6" center, the all-time shot blocking leader in Kansas history. That's going to be a little bit of a problem. They have their own star freshman, 5-star freshman, but you know what they have a lot of? They have a lot of what they're calling super seniors. And this is what it's become. Yeah, this is what it's become is it's so much better. This was the debate. I don't know if you guys saw a lot of this. It's just people just telling John Calipari he's doing it wrong because you would rather have a 23-year-old than a super talented 18-year-old. Do you believe that take?
I don't know. Yeah, the one remember it was all about the one and done, and now you think you can stack all these old guys up. Now maybe you got a chance. You always think about BYU, and when they got some good teams, and they always got those old guys out there rolling out with families and stuff. So it's always an interesting take which way you would go with that. Yeah,
when it's John Wall and Anthony Davis, it's a little bit different than insert lottery pick 10 and 13 or whatever. So you can definitely win with still a true freshman, especially if it's a Juju type of talent, of course. But give me the NBA or the WNBA players first, and I'll figure out the rest.
I'm ready to see Coach B out there, man.
Yeah, we had Coach B on Beth Burns last week, Max. Sean made quick friends. The defensive coordinator for women's basketball. But it's funny, you say they brought in Juju Watkins, and obviously she's the star, and she is a freshman. But her surrounding cast, fifth-year seniors. The 3 Ivy League transfers all had full careers. They are all adults. They brought in adults in the room, and it made life a lot easier on their star freshmen.
And that's what Coach B was talking about, right? Everyone hears the name Juju Watkins, and you think, oh, she's just carrying the team. But she mentioned all those guys, all those gals that are ready to hold the fort down, even if Juju's not having maybe a great night.
You ever seen Juju play in person, Max?
No, TV a couple times, and third time tonight.
Yeah,
not in person.
Pretty big time. We'll see what she's got in store tonight in her second NCAA tournament game. USC versus Kansas coming up 7 p.m. tip time across the USC Trojans Media Network. All right, we hear our guests are on the way. Oh yeah, we're getting a lot of positive energy off screen, guys. We've got guests coming up on Trojans Live. One final segment of Trojans Live on a Monday night. It's a game night. USC versus Kansas coming up, the NCAA tournament. It's going to tip here in about 35 minutes. So we're going to get out of here and rush right to Galen and get on the call for that. The Women's Spotlight brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. Sean was just regaling us that you were at practice this weekend and you got to meet Aaron Donald. And, again, we can't talk about the recruits by name, but I did surmise that a lot of the recruits seem to be in that general part of the field. And if Aaron Donald is telling you what to do and you're the greatest player of their generation, probably somebody whose opinion you might value.
I was trying to put my brain in that position. If I was like a high school kid coming to this practice and there walks in, maybe the best defensive player of all time, there's his coach who could coach me, like that would, it's got it must have been just an amazing feeling. And then like everything kind of aligned in that moment probably for a lot of those guys. Cause just a perfect scenario. Obviously the weather wasn't great. It was a little bit rainy, but just to see the presence of him walking around and him dapping up the coach, like, wait a second, man, I could be a part of this. Like it's gotta be
especially if you're not local. Cause I remember that feeling too, as a Seattle guy coming down here, and it is perfect weather and the first day of spring ball. And it's like the whole Hollywood that you think you're coming down to. And then when Aaron Donald's right there, that's sweet.
Who would have been that guy for you? Take us back to 2000, 2001. If all of a sudden you walked into USC practice and blank is standing there, you're going, okay, I'll do it.
Well, Ronnie Lott was always. I remember
Ronnie was there too, or was there last week at spring practice.
I
He's been
remember
around
seeing
lately.
Ronnie Lott when I was walking around. I remember that's Ronnie Lott from the NFL. He went to it was all kind of coming together in my brain. Just amazing. It's just hard putting yourself back in that position because you take it for granted now. You walk around. I was talking to Tuli Tuipulotu and Marlon was there. Marlon Tuipulotu was there. We got to chat for a while. So I mean, obviously two great players in their own right. But then in walks Aaron Donald. Everyone's like,
Who would have been that guy for you?
My first USC practice I came to was all about Joe McKnight. He was the guy that everyone was trying to get eyes on. And then for me, wanting to wear the jersey number 4, it was like, yo, like this is peak coolness coming down to SC and getting that. But I'm prime Reggie and Matt era too. And any guys that are now on the team that say like, oh, I grew up watching Matt and Reggie. No, you didn't. It was YouTube. I'm the prime age group for that. But those two dudes were peak Trojans.
Yeah, Bryson dropped those birth years. He said, oh, he's a 2000 guy, but most of the guys on the team now, 2005, 2006.
Yeah, I don't even like to think about those things.
These people literally were born after you finished playing at USC, Sean.
Yeah, I feel like it too.
Well, I heard last week Miller talked about the Rose Bowl with Darnold and Saquon Barkley. And I was
his,
like,
childhood memory.
Gosh, life be speeding up.
I also thought I was teeing him up for a Matt Barkley answer, and he even went past Matt Barkley. Like, Matt Barkley was too old for him.
Yeah.
Like, he's rocking the 7, and he knew, like, Matt Barkley existed, but, like, Darnold was the USC moment for him.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's that's the game, but it also, for him, speaks to how long he's been a Trojan and why he's stuck around, which hopefully it's a big season for him.
Time to make some new memories, new stars, too, for the next generation. We got one on the women's basketball side, Juju Watkins, for sure. A lot of people will be wearing 12 in the Galen Center tonight and will be wearing 12 going forward. You got a score prediction for us tonight, Sean?
USC by a lot.
USC by more than a lot.
Ooh, double
Wow.
down.
That's beautiful work, guys. Trojans Live is a production of USC Sports Properties and Playfly Sports. Our executive producer is Drew DeHart. Our producer is Rick Cutler. He was also our engineer tonight.
Double dip.
Production assistance by our entire group in here. Thank you so much. Thank you to our live studio audience, the Cody family in the house tonight. The Moore family came and went. Obviously not fully impressed, but the Cody family stuck it out, so credit to them. For Sean and Max, I am Jordan Moore. Fight on, everybody, and let's go watch women's basketball win.